This is your word of the day, and your word of the day today is diligence. Now go with me to Hebrews. We'll skip Hebrews 11:6. Let's go to Deuteronomy 6 and in verse 7. And you shall teach them diligently to your children. You shall teach them diligently to your children. Let me talk to you a little bit about diligence. There's a couple of Hebrew words that come to mind, mishmar and chartis. Now, diligence is sharp focus, hard work, careful guarding. There's another Hebrew word there I'm not going to go into. You've already got more than probably most of you will even focus or concentrate on. But chartis is sharp, decisive, energetic. It describes hardworking people like digging a ditch. You offensive line coaches know about the trenches, I know. It is like mining gold. Mishmar is to guard a post, to watch even a prison. Proverbs 4:23 tells us this, to keep your heart with all diligence, which means to guard or protect closely like a watchman. Being consistent and persistent, these are the words I put down. Sticking to a routine steadily over time. Showing a little grit, persistency and consistency. Now look with me in Genesis 18:19, if you will, real fast, and then we'll get to the point and we'll be done with this lesson. For I know him, and this is talking to Abraham, okay? Abraham's faith is tried here. For I know him that he will command his children and his household after him. They shall keep the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. Now, this is one of the first scriptures that talks to us and commands us to raise up our children in the ways of God. And I won't go back to the proverb there. You've heard it a million times. And if you didn't hear it that time, you won't hear it this time. But this is a command to Abraham to raise up the children, because our heritage, our nation's stance is based on what we teach our children growing up. How have we done with that? The things that are allowed today, the morality that are allowed today, that are discussed today even, would not even be allowed to be discussed 50 years ago. That's the kind of job that fathers have done. So I know you're a father because you're listening to the Word of God, and I want you to go back to Deuteronomy 6:7. You shall teach them diligently to your children. Here's what I want to tell you, that you shall teach them with sharp focus, hard work. Most of you work hard in your jobs, but you don't work hard in the job that God gave you with your children. Steady persistence, careful, guarding, protecting, paying attention to what they're looking at, what they're watching, what they're doing. Sharp, decisive, and with a little bit of energy, Dad. With a little bit of passion. Yes, the command was given to Abraham. This does not negate our mothers, but the command was given to Abraham here in this lesson. It describes hardworking people. You should be teaching your children the ways of God, just like if you were out digging a ditch for money. Even more so, because this pays dividends that last eternally. You should be teaching your children the ways of God like you were mining for gold, as if there was a crowd trying to get there. There was a limited supply of gold, and you had to be on purpose, you had to be on time, you had to get off your blessed assurance, and you had to get to work and be diligent about getting that chunk of gold, lest it be gone to someone else. The good news about the Word of God is there's plenty for everybody. I said there's plenty for everybody. Good news is not many are going after the gold, for lack of a better comparison. We are to guard our post. We are a watchman on our wall. We are to pay attention. We are to know what our children are doing and what they're being taught and what they're looking at on screens. We ought to know their conversations. We ought to be guarding the post, watchman on the wall, as a watchman with a rifle at a prison gate. Keep your heart with all diligence. Guard and protect closely like a watchman. These children have been entrusted to you by God to raise up in the ways of God. And you should be persistent and consistent, just like getting up and going to work day after day after day. Doesn't matter how you feel. It matters about your obedience to what God has called us to do. Sticking to the routine. Time and consistency, persistency. Let me read one more thing to you and I'll let you go. And I want to, as I'm turning back to Genesis 18 and 19. I want to remind you of Hebrews 11:6 that I tried to start with. That God rewards those who diligently seek him. I want you to think about that word diligence there again. You're wondering why maybe things are not working out. Are you being diligent? Are you being on purpose? Is this your first passion? In Genesis 18:19 again, for I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him. Now the note that I found in my apologetics Bible right here, command his children. This is the first specific reference in the Bible to the teaching of children, indicating that such instruction is the primary responsibility of the father and should take the form of commandments, centering first on the ways of the Lord, then on justice, judgment to fellow men. We can't judge anything because we're not doing what God told us to do. Our children are deaf, blind, and dumb. The multitudes, not all of them. Some of you are doing a tremendous job. But the deaf, blind, and dumb, they're stupid. They've been given technology instead of using their brain. They've been taught the ways of the world because daddies are not diligent. And mama, this doesn't negate you. Do the job. They're flesh of your flesh and bone of your bone. But dads have been given a strict command here in the Word of God. And I'm going to say it like this. Be diligent in the teaching of your children. Be diligent in seeking God. And I want to finish by saying this. Act like men.